Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. I'm here today with episode 10 of Coffee Talk with the Melodramatic Bookworm. For those of you who don't know, Coffee Talks are chatty kind of videos in which I talk about my current reads and anything that's on my mind at the moment. And in today's video, I will tell you what I'm currently reading, plus the whole fiction versus non-fiction debate that has been raging since time immemorial, it feels like. And I will also tell you an anecdote that happened with me a few years ago, which sort of made me think that why such snobbery? It comes back to the same thing again. Reader shaming. Don't do it. It's not good. It's not a good thing to do. It's not attractive. It just makes you more of a snob. Just don't do it. Okay, that was way too much fuel dispensed in just the first minute or so. That's good. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into this video and let's get into our 10th coffee talk. And let's hope we have miles to go. Every month, one coffee talk. It's going to be fun. If you were part of my member live stream that I conducted on the 7th of May on Friday, I asked members to pick my next read and they picked my next read. But before I get on with that, I'd just like to give you a quick reminder that channel memberships are now live on my channel, and in exchange for some amount every month you can get bonus content. I make exclusive content, at least 4 videos a month, in addition to giving members early access to anywhere between 2 to 4 videos every month. So if you'd like any of that, if you like my content, if you'd like to support me monetarily as well, then please do go check out channel memberships. I've put up a full video detailing the levels that I have of member perks. If you'd like to go check that out, link here as well as in the description box below. As well as the link to becoming a channel member is also and always will be in the description box below. You can also become a channel member by clicking on the join button on my channel page. So if you do decide to go ahead with that, a big thank you. I don't think we can promote ourselves enough. I think the world looks down on self-promotion as a whole, and then it expects us to do everything. Like, the world runs on marketing, but okay. So the book that channel members chose for me to read next was Quiet by Susan Cain, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. And I am stuck at the same page where I was reading during those reading sprints, because I also host reading sprints on member live streams. But yes, I'm on page 10 and I haven't moved forward, but in those 10 pages, every moment I was like, yes, exactly, yes, yes. And there's so much that I noted down that it was on. We had 2 reading sprints. One was 20 minutes, one was about 15 minutes or so, and I got through only 10 pages because I was writing down what the author was saying. Let me read out a quote to you, okay? It makes sense that so many introverts hide even from themselves. We live with a value system that I call the extrovert ideal, which makes a lot of sense. The omnipresent belief that the ideal self is gregarious, alpha, and comfortable in the spotlight. The archetypal extrovert prefers action to contemplation, risk-taking to heat-taking, certainty to doubt. He favors quick decisions, even at the risk of being wrong. She works well in teams and socializes in groups. We like to think that we value individuality, but all too often we admire one type of individual, the kind who's comfortable putting himself out there. Sure, we allow technologically gifted loners who launch companies in garages to have any personality they please, but they are the exceptions, not the rule. And our tolerance extends mainly to those who get fabulously wealthy or hold the promise of doing so. This is very true, because the world as a whole, it thrives on double standards. It has certain rules for one set of people and it has certain rules for a completely other set of people. And this is a book that talks about extroverts and introverts, and the question remains is that why are introverts made to seem like we are lesser humans. Like, you are sitting in that quiet corner, why don't you go out more? Would you say that to an extrovert? Would you ask an extrovert to just shut up talking? People are different, and the world needs to learn better to accommodate every sort of people, every sort of person. And if 10 pages can get me this worked up about something like this, I don't know how much of hard-hitting book this is going to be. My point is that there are 260 more pages in which I'm going to go, oh, I relate so hard, and I'll be like, I'm currently reading this one. Even though I haven't gotten any reading done for this book for the past couple of days, I'm still counting it as currently reading. So, very recently what I finished reading were two books that were not on my May TBR. One was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I love that book. I love how sassy Chloe Brown is. I'm not at that level, but she reminds me of me going by the pains and aches in her body, and to see someone being accommodating of her pains and aches, it meant the world to me, and I love reading that book so much, and especially because she's so sarcastic, sassy, and she just gets it done. She is determined to make her place in the world, and I'm just like, that's my inspiration, because I want to be there. I want to be so self-assured and self-confident like Chloe Brown. Highly recommend. And then I finished reading The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie last night, and I like that as well. I mean, I was scared that I wouldn't like it, but the way it all rounded out, Hercule Poirot, master of mysteries. The first book I didn't mention was Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. Would not recommend. I did a book review for my members, which went up today on the day of filming, which is the 10th of May, and I had thoughts. I went off on a rant. But the second book that I am currently reading, I couldn't control myself from starting this, even though it's not on my May TBR. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and that book is Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I'm already 10% into the book. I was reading while I was eating lunch. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. I mean, I'm loving Talia Hibbert's writing so much so that I went and bought one of her other books as well. I'm like that. So yes, those were my current reads. Now on to the technically not issue, but the point that I wanted to talk about, which is fiction versus non-fiction. I have evolved a lot over these past few years. Okay, I was not as accommodating earlier. I wouldn't say I'm ashamed to say, but it's perhaps because of conditioning and all that I thought that, okay, I'm not going to agree with that person and I'm going to judge them based on that. But I have learned a lot over these past few years of being a reader, and I am of the firm opinion that we should not shame people for reading what they read. It's absolutely not an attractive trait if you are judging someone for their reading choices. Judge them if it makes them a shitty person, but otherwise just let them be. Let them read whatever they want to read. And fiction versus non-fiction is also this raging thing that sometimes rips apart social media, it feels like. Fiction, as everyone knows, is a made-up world. These stories are made up. It gives you a form of escapism. You get to escape from reality while you read fiction books, stories. You get to learn different kinds of people, different kinds of human beings, different kinds of traits. And sometimes what you can do is you can write a character or you can write a story that is ideal. And maybe someday we can strive to see the world like that. We can strive and hope to see that people will become better versions of themselves. That is fiction, which is great. I am a huge lover of fiction. If you ask me fiction or non-fiction, I'll always say fiction. But I have learned not to diss non-fiction, because non-fiction, it has different genres in it. It's not just non-fiction as a whole is not a genre. Fiction as a whole is not a genre. There are different categories in there. For example, in fiction you have a fantasy, you have crime thrillers, rom-coms, etc, etc, etc. There's a long list of those. And in non-fiction you have self-help, you have memoirs, biographies, travelogues, etc. There's a lot over here as well. But non-fiction provides this whole view of reality as it is. And as human beings settled in one part of the world, you can't really look at the whole world. And I think non-fiction is a great way to broaden your horizons and learn more about different parts of the world, or about different people who actually exist, and learn from their experiences and build it upon oneself. Self-help books are not my thing. I haven't had a great experience with them so far, so they are not my thing. But there are other people who self-help works for a lot. It helps them a lot. So who am I to judge them for liking self-help books or non-fiction books as a whole? And I really want to say that there are some non-fiction books which are amazing, and just because I found them amazing, non-fiction should not be judged. That's not the case that I want to put out there. I just want to say that you try non-fiction out as a genre as well, and more definitely you will find something that you will like. I'm sure there are people who you look up to in the real life, like they may be politicians. That's a subject I'm not going to go there. Athletes, film stars, someone or the other. There are a bunch of people who have written memoirs and biographies, and someone or the other's biography will resonate with you, and it will make you want to learn more. Make you want to learn tips and tricks about how they moved up in life and they came to the point where they are now looked up to by the whole world. And that is something that non-fiction encapsulate, of giving you a sometimes bitter view, bitter vision, bitter sight of reality, because as the whole proverb goes, truth is sometimes bitter. And to get that perspective on life, I think non-fiction is important. And now, at this point in time, if you ask me which is better, fiction or non-fiction, I will say that I will not say that one is better than the other, but I personally prefer fiction books. Let me tell you about this one encounter that I had. I was returning from a trip to America in 2015. On my way back, someone had come to the airport to give me something, and I was packing it in my bag, and I had a few books with me, obviously, and another reader, a guy, he was sitting there. I think he was reading a book or something. He saw that and he approached me, and I got talking with him. This guy, he went on to say that I only read non-fiction books. And I said, why don't you read fiction books? And he was like, fiction books are not real, and I don't like fiction books because they are not real. And we went on to have that discussion for like half an hour, and I continued to tell him that that is the whole point, escape from reality. That's the whole point of fiction. And he went on, he just kept going on his own track. I kept trying to convince him, and I don't know why I was trying to convince him. It was working for him. It's fine. But I think what I took offense with was the point that he thought he was better because he read non-fiction books. Even at that time, I knew that was a sort of a snobbish thing to do, that you think that just because you read one particular set of books, you are better than the other person. And I was like, yes, I know non-fiction is good. It helps. It gives you perspective on life and all of that. And that person kept going like, no, fiction is, it's very lame, I find, and all of this. And I was like, at the end of that half an hour, 45 minutes, something we were talking. And at the end of that, I was like, you know what? Okay, it's fine. And that's the whole point, isn't it? That person technically did not say that you are a bad person for liking fiction books, which I don't like. He just said that fiction books are lame. But when you are saying that about a whole genre as a whole, that means that it's sort of a transitive property. A is equal to B, B is equal to C, so A is equal to C. So he basically said that he doesn't like fiction, I like fiction. So it sort of came around to the point where that attack came around to me in words that he did not say. But never mind, I'm not going to go back over there again. I just wanted to put it out there as an anecdote. So basically what I'm trying to say, that you read fiction, you read non-fiction, read whatever the hell you want, but make sure it does not turn you into some sort of a horrible person. That's all. Don't become a snob. Reader shaming is bad. I've already spoken about this in a video. If you'd like to go check that out, I leave the link here as well as in the description box below. But reader shaming is bad. Do not do that. Everybody is going through their own thing. Everybody has their own comfort books. And speaking of comfort book, Matt Haig is coming out with the comfort book this year. Okay, let's not take any more detours because the sun is already throwing tantrums. But my point is, let anybody read whatever the heck they want. Self-help, memoirs, biographies, fantasies, crime thrillers, murder mysteries, rom-coms, romance novels, psychological thrillers, historical fiction, mythological fiction, anything. Let them do whatever they want to do. Leave them alone. When you should be stepping in is if the author of any of the books that anyone is reading has done some questionable things. So try to educate them. And if there is some sort of a bad treatment being meted out to any particular sections of society, then is when you step in, not otherwise. Okay, so I think I've spoken for way too long in this episode of Coffee Talk. That was episode 10 of Coffee Talk with the Melodramatic Bookworm. What did you think of this video? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think of my current reads? What do you think of the whole fiction versus non-fiction debate that has been raging and I think will be raging? Which is your favorite? Which genre do you prefer within fiction or non-fiction and the whole thing? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.